Today, I'm going to open up about I kind of like someone.
You're alone again. I shouldn't be thinking of you, thinking of me. I know you're not who you should be. I know.
Hello, everybody. This is Mike, and this is the Daily Bread podcast, the weekly bread, the bread of the talking. It's what I do every week, and it's where I go through things that are currently happening in my life, and I talk about them, and I just completely open up to uh, open air. I was thinking about this the other day, and there's a movie in the 80s called Pump Up the Volume with Christian Slater. And I kind of thought that I, I've seen parts of the movie, so I can't sit here and lie and say that I have seen it. I've seen parts of it, and it was like the middle and the end. And it was my sister's one of her favorite movies. And but the concept of the movie is this guy basically like moves to a town and he has this radio show where he just talks about whatever he wants to. And but he like muffles his voice and all these kids just start tuning into it and then kind of just gives them just hope or that gets out that 80s angst. And I thought the other day, I was like, wow, I guess I'm kind of doing that even though I'm not masking my voice and I'm just talking about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. And I highly recommend that if someone's looking to just get shit off their chest, they do something like this because it's very therapeutic. And there's only so much you could say on something like this, which is funny because like there's people that write books or they make movies that are very deep about what their thoughts are, or they talk about their life in super detail. And this is like a nice balance where I'm not gonna go too deep with shit, but I'm gonna go deep enough where it helps me, and it's fun. I don't know, this is like I just really like this. I'm glad I started doing this once a week because it just really has been great. And so today I'm gonna open up about I kind of like someone currently. I won't say kind of. I definitely really like somebody currently, and I'm not gonna go too in depth on um, the the person or the details and things like that because I want to keep that between us. But I want to talk about what it's like to finally. I'm like walking around my apartment right now. I want to talk about what it's like to actually go through figuring. What's the word? How do I say this? So I want to talk about like how I'm kind of going from a place where you can be so shut off to anything like this, and then all of a sudden the door can just blast right the fuck open, and you just never thought that it would happen. And I kind of said this the other day. We were talking, and I said like it's like this giant wall, and all it takes is just one. I don't know, just like one person or to come in and just really knock that wall down, and you try to figure out like why. I'm not try to figure out, but like when it's happening, you sit there and you think about that wall that you put up to begin with, and when you're in it and there's no one that is there in front of you, you build, put the shit up brick by brick because you're like, nope, don't need any of this bullshit, don't want someone's crap, I don't need to have to give up my time for this person. And it's really not the thing you're doing. It's really what you're doing is you're going, nope, I don't ever want to have someone, I don't ever want to have my emotions or trust going put onto somebody where they're carrying that basically and they can leave whenever they want to, and then you're just completely fucking destroyed. And so that's why walls are built. And I think the beginning of this podcast, when I started it, I was obviously very um, open about how much I just like, no, I don't need it. But I think I haven't gone back and listened to those episodes, but I know that I think even when was talking about it, I think have said that I'd be, if the right person came in, I don't know. But yeah, it's like it's cool when someone catches your eye. And I remember when I was a young lad, and I I forget what age this was at, but when once the ladies started triggering my fancy at a young age, uh, I just remember for some reason I just kind of had like this hopeless romanticness instilled in me. And I don't know if it's because I grew up because when I was 10, my parents got divorced, so I lived with my sister and my mom. So growing up with females, I got their perspective about how like they want to be treated or like how guys should act. And they were like, and I was saying this the other night to the person I'm talking to. I was just, they instill in you keep put the toilet seat down, always open the door for a woman. Just all these simple things, and I really paid attention. And for some reason like that, and I think just growing up and really loving music and listening to these guys that I listen to just woo over females, and it connected with me. It's like, oh, I want to have that. And then I think seeing 80s movies or 90s movies and growing up and seeing those scenes where a guy was being romantic. And I just remember that always spoke to me. Like I always wanted to be someone's someone. Um, and it was never about, oh, what am I going to get out of it? It was just like, what can I bring to the table? And because it's like it's kind of like you're getting what you're giving, and you're not doing it to receive what you're giving. It's like, do you ever just do something really nice for somebody, even just people in general, and you just feel really good? And it's like that Seinfeld episode where it's like, you're right, I'm a good person, but you try to fight that. It's like you're not doing it for praise, but you are getting something out of it. But the fact that you're happy because someone else is happy, I don't think you can sit there and really argue with that and be like, well, it's got to be a different way. It's like, no, it's just the fucking way it is. And I remember just growing up that I just wanted to, even before I really started dating, I just remember I just wanted to just be so insanely romantic and all this stuff. And I remember when I was 17, I was dating my first love, and I remember she came over one time and I made like a picnic in my bedroom. And this is, I mean, I was 17, I couldn't buy any alcohol, but I put down my comforter on the ground. I put like a candle. I got like cheese and crackers or something. And I think she had like these candies that she really liked. They were called violets. And and they were basically, these are candies that I love that I'm talking about someone else, and I'm like telling that I'm talking about that I like someone new, and I'm like, oh, here's this old person I was with, whatever. Uh, and they liked this candy. It was called Violets, like I said, and it was basically it was like a candy that smokers would eat to get the smoke out of their breath. But for some reason, she dug it, and I was working at a market or like a deli. It was called the Ding Dong Deli. It's in Jefferson. It's on Berkshire Valley Road. It's still there if you ever happen to be up in that neck of the woods. And I was working there, and I remember I just started working there, and me and her were starting to talk, and I was looking at the candy section, and there was violets, and I thought it was like the greatest thing in the world because I thought these things were completely impossible to find because I thought she told me that. But it goes back to the what I was saying before about I got so excited that I was going to make her so happy because I found her favorite thing. And and back then there was no texting. It was just like phone calls, and she had a very strict dad, and we had to like have this crazy setup where like the phone in my sister's room, because she had her own line, it would ring once between like after school and about 5 o'clock, so before her parents got home. So if it rang once and that was it, I knew to call her back, shoot with this whole thing. But I remember, so the way to communicate this, it was like either on that conversation or it was like I was writing a lot of letters back then, which I kind of bummed that I don't do that anymore. I really should start that. And and that kind of began my whole thing. And then going back to the whole picnic, I think I like had violets there. So it's like I tried to make it where and she didn't know. So like I had picked her up and she was living in Ridgewood. I drove her back to Jefferson and like this was the summertime. So like my mom was at work all day. So, it's like two kids get to hang out and just be kids, teenagers. And I remember I just like walked up in my room and I didn't. I know I didn't leave the candle on the whole time because that would have been fucking crazy. But we walked in the room and she was just like, "Holy shit!" And that was kind of like the beginning of that. Like that's kind of where I started to develop that wanting to be super romantic and think that. And I think I wrote her like 20 letters through this school year. So I'd just be sitting in the back of English class. It was Mrs. Van Dunk. It was her classroom, and I was in the back, and I knew I had an entire school year to wait to hang out with her as much time as possible because she was living in Green Pond. And I remember I just wrote letters all the time. So you might be saying, why is this guy talking about an old relationship where he's like happy about talking to someone new? And I think that I kind of just start these podcasts off and just spitball. I don't have anything written down. I just have it like, oh, I guess I'll just talk about this and figure it out as I'm going. So that's why these things sometimes are going all over the place. But I think what my brain is formulating here is that I was so excited about that. But I think as time went on and different relationships came and went, and that, what would be the word? That innocentness about shit, it starts to get a little bit corroded. And then when you go through a marriage and go through a divorce that's really brutal, the entire thing it's like it rusts out. And that's where you build a wall and you're like, I don't ever want to give so much and then it just blows up in your face. But it's like the thing I'm trying to realize is that I don't want to do things to keep someone around and I don't want to not make someone happy and I don't want to not make them happy. Wait, or not make them happy. I don't want them to be like sad. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I don't want that person to be like I want to be able to like someone and not with the condition that it has to be because they're with me, and that's a hard thing to really figure out. And I think that's being completely selfless, which I think is the goal because I think a lot of people get unhappy. And I definitely, obviously, got very unhappy with a marriage because it was like, well, we're supposed to be together. So, how do you truly, in a marriage sense, how do you truly love someone if they really found where they needed to go and it wasn't with you then? And I know I've talked about this, but it's like, how do you really like somebody where anything they do, it's like you will always like them. It's like, and it's like a strong conversation to have. Worth I'm talking to nobody, but people are listening. In the beginning of talking to someone, where it's like, yeah, I mean, this shit could go either way, but it's like you kind of sit there with those feelings of I'm really digging somebody, and I want to. That 17-year-old part of me is coming out, which I thought was just like gone. And I didn't think it was totally gone. Like I knew it was there, it was an inkling, and my friends have kind of pointed out to me, they're like, we don't get why you're not like with someone or why you're not being that old way. And you can only you can only get shit on for so long. But the reason then you later on you think about, well, I wasn't really shit on. It just the other people just chose to just go in a direction where it made them more comfortable or happier. So again, that whole thing, it's like not you, it's me. It really is true, and it's hard to digest and swallow in the moment. Um, and I think that's why you can have that set of eyes. You can have that 2020 vision. I'll get there, and you can just kind of see it from the outside and dissect and be like, yes, I get that's why that happened. It's like the last week's episode. It's so funny to call these episodes. I'm talking about my life, and I'm treating like, oh, today's topic or today's episode brought to you by cornflakes. Um, it's not. That'd be cool though. I'd probably be a millionaire. But last week is just self-reflection on the way that I treated a situation and sit there and being like, this is why I can look back and think that was dumb. Granted, something can happen to me now. Like today, I was driving and some guy was in front of me, going like 10 miles an hour, and I was like losing my shit. I'm like, asshole, get the fuck out of my way. And I'm just thinking like, I have nowhere to go. It's Sunday. I have nothing to do except go watch football shortly. And but you can catch it, but it's still like even though you're gonna catch it and you can understand it, doesn't mean you're not gonna get fucking mad and it's not gonna hurt. But if you can get through it faster, that's the point. Anyway, I like someone right now, and it's cool, and I like talking to them, and I like texting them and thinking of songs that make me think of them, and it's cool, and I like it. Uh, yeah, and I like the hard thing is that you want to say so much, especially when something's so new. Your emotions just skyrocket, but that filter comes in. It's like slow down, relax, don't feel these things, but like give little pieces out. Because also when something's happening, you're like, this is great, the world is amazing, but like, and it's cool to be in that situation and think that way and just be swoon, I guess is the word, or smitten. Um, I don't know. It's dope to be in it. It's cool to be. It's super dope. It's cool to be able to talk like this. I've never been able to capture something like that in audio like this. So to be in something positive and be able to record it, it's kind of neat, and to like share that with anyone who might be going through the same thing, or they might be getting out of the same thing. Someone could be going through a really shitty time right now listening to this, and they're like, "Fuck you! You don't know what you're talking about. You're setting yourself up to get hurt. It's what it is." And yeah, who knows, man? I mean, it's always either or, and or someone could be having a great time right now with somebody and just being like, "Yeah, I get it." Um, and the cool thing is that what I realize is that with this couples book that I'm like working on, or I it designed, I wrote, it's drawn, like I have it on an actual book. It's hand, the whole thing is hand fucking written. It's like 30 something pages, and I have to just make this digital. But I realized, and I've probably said this, but it's my way. Like what makes something good is that if you make it, like there's this Venn diagram of people want it and you love to make it. But there's got to be power behind why you make it. And if you don't have the reason why, and just maybe your reason is just like I want to make a lot of money, I think some people that works for them because they so passionately want to make money and that's their why, and then it creates that energy that creates that for them. Um, I just really like creating random shit between like between the condom. That's what I was gonna say. Between the comic and drawing every day and then making these books that I have and then just drawing random index things on index cards around people that I like when I go to bars and or restaurants and things and I get to know the staff and I'll just they'll say something, I draw them a card, they're like, this is so fucking cool, and they light up, and I love that so much. Like I love doing this so much, and I hope that it somehow turns into a thing that I will do all the time and I can like live off of it because it's like pure freedom and just freedom from working for anybody, freedom of like expression, of yeah, it's like it's amazing. And to create something like this book where I realized that this is all the things that you'd be afraid to say to somebody. So you put it out there to nobody because it's safer that way. But it's your truth of. It's funny she said that last night. She thought it was funny that she said that, her truth. Um, it's like yeah, it's your truth. It's like this is what I really think. This is what I really want to say to someone. And this is also something I would use. And it was cool because there was one of them. There's like these weekly emails that I do, and I'm kind of like just peppering out some of these topics. And actually, the email I sent last week, that was that part? Yeah, I think that was. There was 2 weeks ago. It wasn't in the book. But one of the topics, she was like, "Hey, like, let's let's play this game. Let's do one of these topics and talk about it." And it was like, wow, I created something that created a dialogue, and that's why I did this because I want people to do that, and because I want to do it. It's like you got to scratch your own itch first, and that was really cool. And I was so nervous to answer the question, and it's funny when in your safe spot when you throw it out to that other people, you could sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah." But when your skin's in the game, that reality sets in like, "Oh man, I hope this doesn't freak them out." and it didn't, and it was an awesome conversation based on that. And again, I'm not sitting here, I'm not doing this, I'm not talking for 20 minutes to try to sell a fucking book. It's just this all ties in to, I guess, really what I really like in life is like really being connected to somebody. And I've had connections with people, and I've had emotional connection, I've had physical connection, I've had just like a fun, we get along great connection, but I think all of them never really came together. And it's cool to just be like that possibility is always there. And I think that's just what I've been fighting for so long. And I think a couple episodes back I talked about like I just realized I was very lonely, but I'm not lonely enough to go and just make bullshit happen and be like, "Oh, I found someone. Okay, cool. We're going to do all the things and that's just going to make happiness." It's like it's got to hit emotionally. And it's cool when you start talking to someone and it's like just a little bit of that starts, and you kind of like live in the simplicity of it. Like, I dig this. This is cool. And who knows, man? 2 weeks from now, I could do an episode and be like, well, that was all bullshit. It didn't work out. But the fact that I get to have this time capsule, I guess, if you will, of a time where this exists right now in the present, and I get to like kind of put this in a little, like I said, capsule or bubble, and just kind of be excited about just getting to know somebody. And it's great. Uh, and I like it. And I like her. And so, yeah. So that's what I want to talk about today. And I just went on I haven't run in a week and a half. Maybe it's been 2 weeks. And I like just went for a run because today's the first day of football. And I'm definitely going to go out and see what the hell this is going to be like. But I forced myself to go for a run. And I every year I do every year, a couple of years I do a challenge for myself, and I wanted to do. It's a guy I listen to. His name's Noah Kagan. He has a podcast about business, but he talked about how he's doing 30 push-ups a day. So I bought this calendar. I know I'm talking about like liking someone. Then I'm like, let me talk about push-ups. Um, that's what I was getting to. So I bought this calendar, and I was supposed to start doing this on September 1st, and today is the 9th, I think. What the fuck day is this? This is the... God damn it. That's what I love about this too. I'm like not gonna edit this shit out. Oh, 13th. Oh my god, it's the 13th? Holy shit, that's hilarious. Today is my ex-wife's birthday. Wow, that's super funny. Um, so I bought this calendar to do the push-ups, and so today I got up and I just talked myself out of doing physical stuff to just get my ass in gear. And I just woke up and I was like, I'm gonna get on the goddamn ground and just like I just cranked like this band Norma Jean, and I just did 30 push-ups, and it took me a couple minutes to get through it. Took me a couple seconds to get through 30 push-ups. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty strong. No, it took me a couple minutes. Like I got the 10 out, and then it was just like four, shake it out, two, shake it out, three, one, one, one. I mean, it took a minute, and so I was able to, and I like the calendar because I physically wrote down just 30, and I want to just keep track of that. But I'm not going to get in shape by just doing push-ups. Then I talked to my buddy Mike, who's I talked about him last week in the gorilla episode, and I think I mentioned this where I said to him, write me up, do me a favor, can you write me up a month, like 30 days worth of a routine? I don't know, I did talk about this a week ago and I'm forgetting, but yeah, I think I did mention this because I was saying how I was like letting my brain I was just sitting in my Jeep, just quietly driving home in silence and just like letting all these things come up. But he is in the process of writing out 30 days worth of this workout plan, and every workout that I don't do, I'm going to pay him $50. I don't know how I'm going to track that. When I did the 365 days, the 2 miles a day thing, you could track that because when you're out, I had a Garmin watch that would show that I did it, and I had to do that every day. And there was one time I actually I did 2 miles, and I came home and the watch wasn't working, so I'd just go right back out the door and do it again because I was like, I need to keep record of this. But I don't know how I'm gonna track the workouts, and I'm not gonna sit there and fucking videotape myself. So it needs some kind of accountability where it shows that I did it, because you could just bullshit. But um, but yes, I don't know why I went down that path. Um, I think I'm just kind of on this thing of, oh, that's where I ran today. So I made my ass get out there and run, and it did about 2.5 miles, and I just did it in like, I think it was doing like 11:15 pace, which I was pretty happy about. But my body just feels like sludge lately because the last couple of weeks just been going out with friends, and I just feel like a total asshole. So it was cool to do that and let my mind go, and that led to me wanting to sit down right now and kind of swoon over a lovely lady who is kind of fantastic, and she's super cute, and cool fucking personality, under gets the vulgar humor that I have, has it herself. Again, is really cute, and I dig it. So I'm gonna leave on that note, and that's it. Uh, Go check out the comic. It's on Instagram. Your Daily Bread, or it's called Daily Bread. Your Daily Bread is the handle. BRED. And share this if you know someone that might enjoy it. Okay, goodbye.